Welcome back to Learn English with Poetry. Today we're looking at a poem by José Alcántara, and there's a title to the poem, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So here are the things that we'll cover during this video. We're going to do a little bit of preparation before we read the poem together, and then we'll answer some questions. So a little bit about the poet. José Alcántara is a contemporary poet based out of Colorado, and he often writes about the connection to the natural world. The style of his poetry is contemporary, free verse, meaning that it's poetry that doesn't rhyme. So let's get into a few explanations that will help us understand this poem. A metaphor is when the writer is describing something by comparing it to something else. So, for example, if you say he has a heart of stone, right? So it probably means that he's a cold person. He doesn't have a heart that's warm or cares about people. And an extended metaphor is when a metaphor extends across an entire poem. So we see this comparison throughout the poem. An example would be if a piece is about a river, and maybe the river in this poem serves as a metaphor for the twists and turns of life. And let's also look at some vocabulary words that might be new to you. So stunned is an adjective, and this is when you're so shocked that you can't react yet. So very surprised. Patio is an outdoor space. It's usually paved, and it's part of your home. So people go to sit out there and relax and enjoy the outdoors. Cupped hands or cupped palms is when you hold your hands together to form the shape of a cup. And it's usually to hold or receive something. Vulnerability, able to be hurt or harmed easily, being exposed to danger. So we can see, for example, a kitten is very vulnerable, right? It can't really defend itself. It's small. It needs protection. Unseasonable. So this is an adjective. It's describing something where it's unusual for the time of the year. And we're usually talking about weather or temperature. So we can see in the picture, we're at the beach, but there's a snowman. So maybe it's winter, but this particular day or week, it was unseasonably warm. So we can go to the beach even though it's winter. Recover means to return to a normal state of health, mind, or strength. We can see in the picture, maybe the man went for a run and he was very tired. So he's sitting down and resting and recovering. So now he's starting to feel like his breathing is getting back to normal. His heartbeat is getting back to normal. He's recovering. Flutter is a verb, and it's usually related to like a bird or a butterfly, something with wings. So flutter means you're moving your wings lightly or quickly. A streak is a long, thin line of a different substance or color. For example, if you see a shooting star, it leaves a streak of light across the sky. Sometimes when we wash our windows, we try to clean them well, but sometimes we leave a streak on the glass that we can see. And finally, dazzling is an adjective, and it's describing something that's really bright or impressive. For example, a diamond is dazzling because it sparkles and it has, so we can see a lot of colors. Great, so let's get into reading our poem. And we're actually going to be able to hear from the poet himself as he reads his poem. So enjoy the poem read by the poet.
He has flown headfirst against the glass, and now lies stunned on the stone patio, nothing moving but his quick-beating heart. So you go to him, pick up his delicate body, and hold him in the cupped palms of your hands. You have always known he was beautiful, but it's only now, in his stillness, in his vulnerability, that you see the miracle of his being, how so much life fits in so small a space. And so you wait, keeping him warm against the unseasonable cold, trusting that when the time is right, when he has recovered both his strength and his sense of up and down, he will gather himself, flutter once or twice, and then rise, a streak of dazzling color against a slowly lifting sky.
Okay, so now let's get into some questions about the poem. The first question is, why is the bird stunned? Why is the bird stunned? So you can pause the video and answer or think about or talk about this question. The second question is, what is the unknown person's, so the you in the poem, reaction to the bird? So what is their reaction to the bird? The next question, the name of this poem is Divorce. Read the poem again. How does the title affect your reading and understanding of the poem?
Divorce. He has flown headfirst against the glass, and now lies stunned on the stone patio, nothing moving but his quick beating heart. So you go to him, pick up his delicate body, and hold him in the cupped palms of your hands. You have always known he was beautiful, but it's only now, in his stillness, in his vulnerability, that you see the miracle of his being, how so much life fits in so small a space. And so you wait, keeping him warm against the unseasonable cold, trusting that when the time is right, when he has recovered both his strength and his sense of up and down, he will gather himself, flutter once or twice, and then rise, a streak of dazzling color against a slowly lifting sky.
And the last question is, why do you think the word bird is never used in the poem? So these are some possible explanations to these questions. Why is the bird stunned? The bird flew into the patio window by accident. It's so shocked and probably hurt that it can't move. What is the unknown person's reaction to the bird? So the you in the poem. This person seems to care about the bird, treating it tenderly and keeping it safe until it can fly away. The name of this poem is Divorce. How does the title affect your reading and understanding of the poem? We understand that the poem is an extended metaphor for divorce. The bird serves as an image for the man experiencing divorce. And finally, why do you think the word bird is never used in the poem? It could be that the writer is using the pronoun he instead of the bird to enhance the extended metaphor. Finally, let's make some personal connections. Number 1, what part of the poem stood out to you or was memorable the most? Number 2, did you feel differently in response to the poem after reading the title? Number 3, the writer used an extended metaphor of the stunned bird to suggest the experience of divorce. What image would you use to represent divorce? So if you're thinking about these questions and sharing with a partner, once you're done, share one thing that your partner discussed and tell the class. So you can think about things like, were any of your partner's answers interesting? Were any explanations surprising? Did you have any responses in common? Or did you have any different or opposite responses? So enjoy your discussions and thanks for watching this video.